Afternoon, everybody. Today is January 31st, around 1:30 on the East Coast. So yesterday was a little bit of a hectic day for me, kind of busy. And I like to get up a little bit earlier than normal on those busy days, just to kind of get a head start on the day and make sure everything's good to go by the time I have to leave the house. So I started my day off, like I said, by waking up a little bit earlier than normal just to make sure that things were good to go. And then I had to work first in the morning around 10 a.m. for a couple of hours. I work at a local bar here in the area as kind of like an assistant manager. And went to work, and then I had this small gap of time between work and having to go to school. I go to school in the evening. Classes start at around 4:30, and I don't get to leave there until around 8:30 at night. So I go to school for a couple hours in the evening, but I do have a gap um, in between two classes that I take, and that's where I recorded yesterday's video, in between that gap. But um, I tried to make sure that everything was good to go for me yesterday and tried to be as prepared as I could. And I noticed that I still kind of forgot to do some things. Ended up having to come back to the house, and I was kind of more prepared to just leave for the day. So, I mean, with that being said, maybe I could have gotten up a little bit earlier to make sure I was more prepared. Um, or maybe it was just, an opportunity for me to eat lunch, because some days I actually do forget to eat just because I'm so busy. Most times that doesn't happen, but on the days that it does, I really do feel it a little bit later on in the day. But I'm doing this intermittent fasting diet where I eat basically twice a day. Around 12 o'clock, I'll eat my first meal, and then roughly 8 hours later, around 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, I'll eat my dinner meal with my family. And that seems to have been working for me a little bit as far as trying to get to my goal weight of 185. Just weighed myself this morning, lost a pound in between yesterday and today, but who knows, that could be all water weight. But like I said, my goal yesterday when I was, or on Sunday when I was making my calendar, is to weigh 190 by the end of February, which I think is very doable. It's only 5 pounds during the course of a month, and if you can manage to lose that and keep it off, you'll be more successful than trying to lose like 30 pounds in a month. So that's kind of my goal for the weight thing, and my diet as of now. I find the intermittent fasting diet highly beneficial for a person like myself. Now, from the research that I've done, it's not that beneficial for people who are trying to put on weight. It's much more beneficial for people who are trying to either stay lean or lose weight. And I have found, tried a bunch of different things throughout my life, like eating small meals a couple hours apart, and a lot of other things that you hear out there. And this is one that I don't think gets much recognition, although it tends to work for the research that I've came across. And so I find it interesting. Like I said, it's a little bit easier for me. It's only 2 meals. I roughly eat the same amount of portions as I used to, except I cut a meal out. So pretty much any way I slice it, I'm eating less calories per day because I'm only eating twice a day. And for me, having such a busy schedule at this point in my life, it really makes things a little bit easier. I'm not too concerned about waking up in the morning and eating breakfast. I'm more concerned about, getting the stuff together for, today's adventure, so to speak, rather than focusing. I used to focus a lot on what I was going to eat, and that would take a big portion of my morning, and now I can use that time a little bit better by focusing and planning for the day ahead. So I did want to tie in career. We'll stick to that for today. So at one point in my life, at several stages through my life, I didn't know what career I would have. And then when I was in the military, I thought that I would be what we call a lifer, a person who's in the military for, to retire. And due to unfortunate circumstances, I had to um, leave. And by unfortunate, I just mean that I wasn't medically fit for duty anymore. So, which I'm okay with, I'm at peace with. I'd rather, do it right, be fit for duty, than, possibly hurt myself any more than I had already had. So, I found that, things are always changing in my life. When you're so set on a plan, sometimes you feel like that's your destiny, so to speak, and things don't always align the way they want to. Excuse me. I'm a person who constantly gets, I wouldn't call it blame, but I get feedback from my family that I don't tend to finish things that I start. And, my response for that is that I know kind of my strengths and my weaknesses. And if I'm trying something out, like this vlogging, for example, and I don't find a connection there, I would leave it alone. Like many jobs that I've had in the past where they're short term. And that doesn't mean that you're not focused on your career. But for me, I had to try, again, different things to find out what I would want to pursue. My career focus now is on mentoring and serving people. And I think that every day when I try to make these videos, it's a step closer to that. I believe that these videos can help people. If I didn't, I wouldn't be making them. So, with that being said, just know that there's going to be times in your life where you're so certain that this may be your career choice. I mean, it's like almost picking a degree major in university. I'll save that for an educational piece, but it's just like that, where people go in with dead set, I want to be, let's say a doctor, but I can't pass biology, so now I got to switch my major because, that doesn't fall in line to something else. And you just have to make sure that you're going after something that you truly believe in. And don't let anybody discourage you from that. There's been many times that people have told me that I can't do something and that I won't do something. And I use that as pure motivation to make sure that I do something. And sometimes I'll do it just to prove a point. Whether I like doing it or not doesn't really have any bearing on me. I'd rather prove a person wrong at times and just get something done than not do it for the sole purpose that I'm, a little headstrong at times, and I can be very headstrong. But actually doing these videos is a reason why, people are like, you don't finish things that you start. And like I told you, my response for that, and I really wanted to at least get something started with this mentoring thing. I've done plenty of mentorships in the past, and it started for me. My earliest memory of mentoring was this little girl who I mentored through the TAPS program, which is Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors. She had recently lost her father 6 months before we met, and I volunteered for this program to help mentor this little girl through the tough time that she was going through. I think she was 3 or 4 years of age at that point in time. And the connection that I made with her, I kind of was reluctant to do the program. I was like, what could I possibly have to offer this little girl? I'm not going to be of any benefit to her, and I almost talked myself out of it. But I was glad I decided to stick with it, because that little girl changed my life and I changed hers, all for the better. We had things similar, like we both lost our fathers. We both had a passion for, understanding what the military was about. Even though she was at a young age, she took pride in service members and being a part of that small group of people. And it was a life-changing experience for me, and I should have, looking back again, you can always connect the dots and kind of see where things fall, but I didn't make too big of a deal about it, but I still hold that same little certificate that I got for doing that, and I'll never forget the little girl's name, Olivia, that I mentored that day. And making these videos makes me think back to that initial time of mentoring, and if I can just help one person along the way, like I helped that little girl and I saw the change, and we actually stay in contact to this day, and this was back in 2010. So if I can have that same impact on a little girl and people who I've mentored along the way, that was just the beginning for me. I know that I can have an impact on bigger people and the younger people today. Like I said, these videos are kind of targeted for the younger people who tend to watch YouTube and are looking for some sort of guidance in life and generalities. And to tie this all back to career, this is kind of where my next stride is, where my next goals are in mentoring. And like I said, I have a job, essentially managing, and I also serve, bartend. I'm kind of doing a little bit of everything at this job, so I can understand what goes into like a bar type atmosphere and understand the business behind the scenes that a lot of people don't see. A lot of people always see the glorious things that happen up front, like when you walk into a bar and everything's all set up and good for you to go. But what about ordering, the different alcohol to make the drinks, or making sure that you don't run out of that stuff, and making sure you take the deliveries and put the deliveries away, balancing accounting books. There's so much more that goes into it. And even something as simple as a bar where you can be making drinks, or we also serve food as well, but even something as simple as that requires a lot of patience, commitment, and desire to want to do that. And I've always, it's always been a distant dream of mine to own a bar. So that's why I've decided to go to work for these, the kind of people who gave me an opportunity and started me off as like a floor manager position just because we had some history. For that to happen, for me, I took it as a blessing. And again, my wife wasn't too thrilled about the outcome of me. She thought it would take away from more family time and just wasn't thrilled about me working again in that type of atmosphere. She was always very proud of me working in the military and very supportive of me working in the military. But when it came to this change of job, and I told her the reasons why is because I'm studying, business marketing in school, and I want to put the science behind what I'm studying. It's almost like an internship where you get paid, and I'm forever grateful to have this opportunity in front of me. And you have to, again, this goes back to career and trying different things to see kind of what works out for you, where your passion is. Again, I get paid for that, so my effort is a little bit different there, but I wouldn't say that it's any less than the effort I'm putting towards these videos, which are completely on my own. Nobody's paying me to do these again. So I wanted to do these different things and kind of see where I end up in a couple of years. I don't, I have a vision for the future of, like I said, and reiterated, of being in front of hundreds, if not thousands of people, speaking to them about my experiences. I don't know if it's going to be on a motivational or inspirational plane. It may just be on a purely mentoring plane. But the passion that I have when I listen to other people mentor people, and when I mentor people, the connection I have there is so strong and emotional that I can't explain it in words. I just have to do it. And that's what I'm doing with these videos. So thank you guys again. I'm trying to, figure out a way to make these videos a little bit shorter. But it's very tough for me. Once I get going on a subject, I'd like to basically clear the air of my thoughts on that subject, and it's taken me a little bit longer than normal. But I'm going to try my best to cut these videos down if that's what you guys like. If not, I'll do my best to just get the information out there as best as I can. So I appreciate you guys watching. Still at 2 subscribers, but I am grateful to them. And I got my first comment yesterday, which was a like and a thumbs up from somebody who I don't even know, but to make an impact and for them to say that they like my videos and that it was good content, and this is a person who I have no idea who they are. They were very nice and kind to me, and I appreciate that kind of feedback. It gives me some sort of reinforcement that what I'm doing is catching on. It is making a difference. And that person also invited me to use their music, which, I would want to, but for these videos, I don't know if the music might be a distraction. So for now, I'm not going to be using it, but I am grateful that that person offered me their own music that they made and put their blood, sweat, and tears into for me to use for my videos. That is very kind, and it may be something I do in the future or try out. But for now, I want to make sure that people are, focused on the content that I'm trying to put out. And for now, it'll just be that. So thanks again for watching, guys, and I look forward to tomorrow's video, and we'll talk about today, basically tomorrow. Look forward to seeing you guys then.